Hey yo, my fellow geeks, kept you waiting, huh?
Kept you waiting, huh?
So I was recently revisiting the Witcher TV show. While its season 2 had a linear structure for a narrative, but its season 1 suffered from various inconsistencies, which led it to being a disconnected experience, which season 2 corrected in some way by giving it a coherent story. While, as title say, we are not here to talk about the Witcher TV show or rant about it as it was my intention prior to this video. Well, I can help, but not like Witcher TV show. It's not good. It's not just Witcher.
Customer's always right.
Let's make it a topic for another day. With that being said, let's jump into the why non-linear narrative is a hard task, like Souls level hard.
Three, hut, two, one, hut, one, hut.
Well, we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about its genuinity, why it can do a great thing to a source material. So, with that being said, roll the title card.
Not even God can stop that now.
To talk about this indigenous topic in films with its variety of takes, non-linear narrative sometimes became a much attentive aspect in script writing. Not only it requires a constant hook of focus, but if you lost your way along the way, then you can end up in square one. Quentin Tarantino's movie also incorporates this factor, such as Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction, and Hateful Eight in general, along with other examples. Christopher Nolan also have a high ground this game, which comes from this debut film, The Following. Despite being shorter than average feature film, the film executes its narrative and set up the events quite well, even giving us the tied up loose end ending, with the scenes usually complementing itself sometime after the groundwork of some other scenes. The other unique example being Memento, and spoiler alert for the movie if you hadn't experienced this masterpiece of Nolan. So Memento follows a man with a short-term memory loss disorder, played by Guy Pearce, who uncovers the mystery of his wife being murdered and, the neo-noir thing. What follows is a series of mindfuck events that test your intelligence with a level of 100,000, 100,000, it's over 9,000 IQ difficulty. Actually, what unfolds is the movie is actually in a reverse order. Told you have been warned. The beginning is the ending, and the ending is the beginning. Well, we have seen it a lot of time in movies and video games where ending is played first, then the events take place.
Buy me a drink, sailor.
Harry Flynn?
What is unique about Memento is its pacing in reverse order. If you watch this film in reverse, you are gonna understand the whole film, no strings attached, and the hard task finally completes, which states you have to double down the runtime in order to understand Chris Nolan's movie.
You see, so pulled me down, but second's not bad. Grandpa attended the ceremony.
Pro tip, if you want to understand it on your first run, if you're watching this video, then watch it in reverse order if you're having trouble understanding it.
We've known each other many years, but this is the first time you ever came to the council for help.
The reverse order not only makes it genius in its craft, but makes it consistent, which serves the film quite tremendously by making every scene connect to add more to the fractured psyche of the protagonist. The movie also doesn't let you know what the time period is or what timestamp are currently experiencing. Then it comes down to more show don't tell aspect of writing. This is how writing usually work, how you draw character parallels like in Pulp Fiction, which rather rely on character crossing subtly instead of making them meet face to face. Psychological movie benefits greatly from this as it plays more on the cahoots on the mind of the character, which in turn makes you question. Another example being The Prestige, which pits two characters in making their best magic ever come to life by explaining it all in the end, which directly shifts past from current time. It also hides the twist under your nose to make you anticipate the twist and the inevitable reveal. Then, what makes a non-linear narrative work in the first place? Well, it all trims down to how you piece together a puzzle in a shuffled form. That is the literal process to craft a script which can indirect viewers' mind so they can keep the note of every character's action and piece it in the way as the story
Flattered or
was meant to.
worried? Maybe a bit of both. Come here. I've got a job for us.
Well, same thing can also be said about video games, which, unlike movies, let you experience the events through the more interactive means like you holding a controller. It comes with examples like Uncharted 2, where Nate is chilling and hanging on a train, which is suspended upside down from a cliff. The event then shifts back to past and current time. It sort of goes into media res form of artwork where usually a story kicks in the midst of the plot. Well, some other games. Take an example like Hotline Miami 2, which goes for a more Pulp Fiction vibe, where it usually disbands the character in their own story in their own timestamps and let them intersect at one point. If we are at the same topic of separated characters, then interactive point and click adventures like Quantic Dreams, Detroit Become Human, and Dark Picture Anthologies games, or Until Dawn, which is pretty great, underrated piece, their narrative through non-linear when their plot unfolds. It does not usually comes down to keep the non-linear narrative in one entry. Series like Metal Gear Solid has a whole franchise with story chronologically having scattered around different timestamps, where vision is the most vital thing because you gotta plan. You gotta plan a thing with if you go for Metal Gear Solid 3 and you have made already Metal Gear Solid 1 which is set in future, then you have to make a game which already dates back to the origin of this test character like Solid Snake origin, how he came to be and who his father is. Like then you have to be kind of a visionary in this perspective.
The memes.
Heck, even Devil May Cry follows this structure in this wackiness of its world.
Okay, V. Why don't you tell me everything about this job?
A powerful demon is about to resurrect, and we need your help, Dante.
Oh, shit.
Well, non-linear narrative is truly beneficial, that's one thing. And not only it gives a story a unique charm, but sometimes it literally becomes a MacGuffin to set up the events and what's to come.
Are you watching closely?
Now, how it comes to TV shows. Well, you have a more ground to explore and expand the narrative piece by piece to complete its shadow and the actual body. Shows like How I Met Your Mother is a prime example which shifts back and forth to tell a coherent story and come to a halt with its finale. Oh, I truly despise that final season and ending. It was freaking excruciating.
I have a sausage with your name on it.
Arrow is also an example which explores Oliver Queen 5 years in a desolate island, which also gets reminiscence through 5 seasons, which also played a part in the present, and its element also ties up the story with that typical CW formula. But hey, first 2 seasons were good, right?
Moira Queen, you have failed this city.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
With Twin Peaks having its own style of new weird tale, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Firefly, which has the more science fiction roots with only one episode being the non-narrative structure, superhero flicks like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Legion, and Arrowverse, which you have discussed about already, and even Breaking Bad, which kickstarts its final season with a scene which joins its root with later episodes. TV show has many examples because of its wider narrative potential and overarching plot lines, which provides a great tactic to carry over a show which is both beautiful, great, and bad. So what are your thoughts about this topic and in this short essay and journal? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, you know the drill. Like and subscribe to this intriguing yet the eccentric geek.
Adios.